Hello, good evening and welcome to All About Sport. Louise is away tonight. She's up in Dublin with some of the competitors. Well, it's only radio, of course, it's not television. But tonight we have something very special in the studio. We have members from the Cavan Gaels Camogie club. And while the Gaels is synonymous with football over the years, but these ladies here are certainly really on the ball, or on the... What's the name, ladies, for the... Sliotar. We have Rebecca and Sharon.
Yeah.
And ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
So we'll start with the Cavan Gaels, of course. As we said, the football is renowned, but the Camogie, you're in development now for just a year. So maybe you go through how your involvement with it and how it started.
Yeah. Basically, it around early last year. Rebecca put the feelers out on Facebook, kind of seeing was anyone locally or anyone around Cavan interested in playing Camogie, and there was a big response. All right, we held a meeting then up in the club rooms around early February, just to see who was interested, if we wanted to play competitively, had people played before, never played before, what way they were. So within about 2 weeks then from the meeting, I'd say we had our first training session.
Yeah. Right. Well, there are quite a number of clubs in the county, like Castlerahan and Lara.
Castletara, there's a few clubs. There is Castletara, Crusherlaw, Lacken, Lara, Den, Drumgoon, and then there's a few underage, Red Hills, Kill, Baileyborough, that kind of thing. Kind of the number of clubs have dropped over the last couple of years, you know. Most clubs have 2 or 3 teams entering into competition. We just have the one team at the minute.
What might have an impact on? I know there's also ladies football, so ladies are reasonably well catered for in some areas. But would you find that in some parts of the county it's more predominant?
Yeah, it's very predominant, kind of outside of the town.
Yeah.
Kind of for us at the minute, it's hard to get young girls interested. You can play competitively from 16 up, but it seems very hard to get the younger girls involved. If they're involved at 16, 17, usually within their clubs, within like kind of rural enough areas.
But when you started, when you sent out the feeders through Facebook and the response, how did you go about assembling a team? Because there's a lot involved with getting a team together. There's getting grounds to play on, there's getting coaches to train. So,
well, in fairness to Mickey Mooney and Damien Walsh up in the Gaels, the chairperson and secretary, they were very instrumental in helping us, kind of putting us in the right road to setting up a team, kind of registration. The county board also were very good to us last year. They helped us out.
Yeah, because the Gaels would have that record of they have 2 teams, is it, on the football?
At the senior level, they have at the minute, and then they've a lot of underage. We also have underage ladies football, which started last year.
So
as well.
They would have given you help with different processes you have to go through, and then of course getting the pitch available for games and all.
Yeah, the pitch, getting that. Damien was very good in kind of organising, I suppose, the football around our Camogie in terms for matches, and we have our own training nights Monday and Thursday, and you know, I suppose Cormac Nelligan was instrumental in setting those days, and we stuck to them rigidly last year to get the training and the fitness up.
Right, and so from day one, did you train for a while before? Would it be similar to the other one? There'd be championships and leagues and things. So at what point after the training did you get involved with the competitive side of Camogie?
When we first started training, we had a good, our first game?
6 weeks, was it?
Yeah, and the first league game was against Den, out in Den. That was our first game. We went out very nervous, obviously very excited, but we won.
We won it. We thought we were heroes afterwards.
They were an experienced team.
They were an experienced team enough. They were young, they were experienced, but we thought we were heroes afterwards. It was like we won the All-Ireland final. It was brilliant.
But even leading up to that, you know, where people are not familiar with training and playing sort of semi-competitively, it can be an onerous task. Muscles aren't fit and it's tough. It's difficult. So how did you get many people that stuck with it, or did some people drop out because of the regime?
Some people dropped out, not too many.
Small enough kind of numbers, but
we stuck at it, and in fairness, the coaches understood the level of fitness that we would have had back then, and the training was pitched. I think,
skills as well. Obviously, bringing people on that maybe hadn't played in years or never played.
There was a few girls that never played before who have still stuck with it, are still with us this year, and they've made massive.
Right. But there's a great buzz even
brilliant.
at the training stages. You know, that's more fun before you start getting seriously competitive. That must have been great for bonding with other girls.
It was unreal actually, because a lot of our players would be mums, and they would have said, "Oh, we just stay at home, we don't do anything," and now they're kind of.
Now everyone's kind of best friends up there.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
It's really good fun.
And when you spared, you know, generally associated with, dare I say, the Gaels, like there's Drummondley and there's Butler's Bridge and Killygarry. Were you spared that type of thing, that people were willing to play Camogie because it was a Camogie team as opposed to a club in a sense? Was it? Did you get ladies from different parts of around the town?
Not really. We have one girl that would be from another club, play football with another club, but the rest kind of more town based.
More town. Yeah, it was just.
But would the family have association with the likes of Killygarry or any of the other? You know, where there's that known rivalry between, even in the town itself, there's rivalry on the football side. But is it all purely from the pool of Gaels people that you have your players?
No. There's girls that would play football with other clubs just outside the town, so it's not just purely. From the Gaels,
maybe other football clubs that don't have Camogie in their football clubs that are playing Camogie with Gaels.
So if and they could be playing with one club on football and playing against ye on the Camogie. So
they play Camogie with us and they play football with a different team. So they could actually be coming up against another rival Camogie team. So there is there is that kind of thing.
So that first win, that spurred you on then, and how did it develop from there? That was a league, was it? That was the start?
That was the first round of the league. We went out and we won, and we were brilliant. We were champions that night, and then we went out and faced Red Hills the next week.
So we were hammered.
Forever known as the Red Hills beating.
Right, well, I have two daughters, and I've of course played Camogie as well, and two daughters that they played for Lara. And sometimes it can be a very high scoring, and sometimes it can be a very low scoring. So where did you fit in that?
In that game or overall?
No, overall in games. You know, would you find that you have the ability to get the ball moved from one end of the field to the other? And
we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
We do now.
We're kind of coming off the pitch saying we can't score, but definitely this year there's been a big turnaround. We focused on our weaknesses from finishing off last year, and the fitness levels are really up there compared to last year, and the scoring's really coming on. That was we worked on what we had to.
And really in fairness, the coaches did kind of spot that weak link, and they really put in the effort this year.
So you'd have a debriefing in a sense from some of the previous games, and you'd look at where areas that you'd have to brush up on. And would the coaches work on maybe individuals or set pieces, or what way would they approach it?
It wouldn't necessarily be individuals, it'd be like the forwards or the backs. They would bring us off for that kind of.
They would do maybe game situations. You might, in the middle of a game, you could say stop. If we were in the game, we just stop the play. If we're in the game, why are we standing here? We should be standing here. We have to do this, we have to do that. So.
Right.
They're always bearing in mind that we are a new team and that there are players that wouldn't have played before, which is brilliant. They're very conscientious that way.
But still, the fact that you're still going and still competing favourably this year, maybe we'll go about. Where you mentioned Mickey Mooney, of course, he was one of your sponsors last year. Yeah,
he sponsored us last year, our jerseys last year, and this year Peter Veal is the new sponsor. So we'll be new jerseys this year with Peter Veal. He sponsored the whole club, not just the Camogie.
And that would include all your t-shirts. They look, is it t-shirts and various?
It'd be jerseys.
Oh, jerseys,
sorry. So for like the male footballers, the female footballers, and the Camogues as well. So.
And then with Camogie and hurling, of course, we feature a good deal of hurling on All About Sport. It can be dangerous, but the coaches were stressing that if properly coached, you're coached to play appropriately. But with the safety gear, with helmets and gloves and shin guards and all, presumably you don't, with proper coaching, you don't have many difficulties in that.
No, you do go out and you do get the odd bruise, but we are coached how to hold your hurley to protect yourself. Like the safety of players, I think, is at the fore.
Yeah, big time. And obviously the equipment, there's plenty of equipment in the club, and new players coming in, your insurance, and
the gear is there for them till they kind of get up and run and do. If they like it, then they will go and kind of get
the pool. sort of numbers would you have? You know, is it a 15? Is it similar to? Is it 15 aside?
It depends. 15 aside for the senior teams,
Oh.
and then there's junior A, which is 13 aside. We're junior B, and it's 11 aside. But we can play 13 if both teams agree. So it kind of just depends on the day and
what sort of panel would the Gaels have?
we've a small enough
registered
panel. We've
now.
about 16.
Yeah, but 16 is
About
your
16. Like we're saying, it is quite difficult to get the interest of young girls. We've had one or two up, and I suppose because of our level of fitness has gone up, and they're coming into the club and they see that we're fit. It's kind of, I suppose, daunting for them, and they kind of really,
maybe. And if they could, we really would like to get
definitely
younger players in, you know, and with their friends and people, and bring them in and get used to it, and guarantee they'll love it.
Yeah.
I can see from your enthusiasm, that's infectious, and we get a lot of people involved. And maybe a little bit later on, we'll look at some of the photographs, because that's a great asset for during the games. I believe Paul Reynolds is who takes a lot of photographs.
Yeah, he comes to most games
on our behalf.
Yeah, it was great for the
He's
photographs. Must say, good action shots now.
Yeah, it's great for kind of conversation after the match. Go, oh my God, remember you did that kind of thing. We're like, oh no, not that photograph.
Yeah. So
but it's good. It is. There's great morale up in the club.
Yeah, amongst the women, like they're great. Everyone's grown really close, and we always encourage each other. If someone might feel they're having a bad game or a bad training session, everyone's just like.
Yeah, so when you said that you were hammered by Red Hills that time, I'm sure you must have been a bit of a downer at that point, saying, "Geez, why did you get involved, or why do you know?"
Well, I think for me, I felt like we just went from here right down to the bottom. But it was a good learning curve to not be.
Bet them then after
But
that.
now you're obviously
at that point in, we bet them again.
right. So obviously you're competing favourably now this year.
Yeah, well, we always bear in mind like that we're a new club starting up, and the rest of the clubs have been established, and most of their players have played from a younger age up. So we bear that in mind, but we give 100%, and it is really reflecting this year.
Yeah, it's a big step up.
But you can't use that. You're beginning to sound like the government. You know, we're only in a while. You can't use that excuse all the time. So at some point you're going to have to say, you know, you've matured, you're a fully fledged team.
We might get another few months out of that excuse, though.
But at least you don't have to go for re-election. So
exactly. But even the one of our trainers would play football at the Gaels, and like he would be getting texts after the games. Well, how'd you get on? Or up a training? How's the Camogie going? So it's not just kind of morale and support within the Camogie strand of it. It stretches out the wider environment or family of the club.
As I said, we'll look at the photos, but unfortunately now we have to go to a commercial break. So we'll be back in part 2 in a minute or two.